Man. What's up, Agee?
What's up, Thrill? What's going on, baby? Let's get it.
Hey, man, listen. Today's show, we got a returning visitor. Matter
Yeah.
of fact, because when you come back, that means you must be doing something right. So on today's podcast, he's from, and I just got to throw it out there, Pembroke High. He's a Mizzou alum, former NBA shooting guard with the LA Lakers. He's an original Bobcat. I don't know what they call it now, but he's a Bobcat. Pacers, Sixers, Clippers, and now, and this is what our show is going to be about today, he has turned all those basketball skills into an entrepreneurial skill as the founder of Educated Spirits, Gentleman Brands, and recently he just launched, him and his partner, R&R Advisory Group. And Agee, I'm telling you, man, I love this. I wish they had this when I was hooping. The R&R Advisory Group helps professional and college athletes, get this, not only secure NIL deals, sponsorships, and brand partnerships opportunity, but they are helping you with life after basketball.
Yes.
Listen, we want to welcome to the show today, once again, our boy, our homie, our family, none other than Mr. Kareem, left hand swish shot in your face, Rush. Welcome, dog.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the show
What's
again,
good, boys?
man.
Hey, appreciate you boys having me back, man.
Yes.
Hey, man,
Yes.
this is so crazy, Kareem. Listen, man, websites, and I just got to start here because you got something now. It's Educated Spirits, and I'm loving this because this is like, it's just for our Hoop Dream fans. You all know this is bourbon, but he got what is called the Rivals Bourbon Collection. Now, Agee, this is what's crazy about this.
What?
It's gold versus blue. Now, this is what makes this special. You got Mizzou versus Kansas in alcohol form. So I just want to know right now, who's selling the most?
So far is Mizzou. That's because I've been promoting it. But KU's not far behind, but we did just lock in our first major distribution deal with Kansas. So they just bought like 60 cases from us on Wednesday. So
That's what's up.
So shout out to Kansas. I need Missouri to come through and do the same thing. But so far, Missouri's kind of been the lead. Actually, another addition, I just got inducted to the Hall of Fame class of 2025 from Mizzou. That's been kind of pushing the bourbon brand from Mizzou. So yeah. So it's good.
Congratulations. Hey, that's big time, man.
Big
But
time.
give us the inspiration, man. Give us, like, where did this even come about?
So post career, I've been a serial entrepreneur. I've done a lot of different things. I've tried. If Matt can attest, me and Matt kind of worked on a lot of different things behind the scenes, creative wise. So I've always been a creative guy. About 18 months ago, one of my business partners in LA, came to me and said that they had this opportunity to pretty much white label a liquor brand. So think about The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, all those celebrity-driven brands. They asked me, knowing that I had a lot of connections with athletes, do you know any big athletes that want to get into their own bourbon or tequila or vodka? I was like, no, I don't know anybody personally, but what I do have is this league that I started 2 years ago called the ABL. And through that league, I got connections to a lot of former legends of these different universities. So why not create a brand specifically for alumni associations, alumni where they can kind of go back into those alumni associations, those fans that love them, and pitch a product. Normally, former guys like myself, we go back to school, we usually do an autograph session or appearance, but why not come to them with some business acumen and the business to present to these guys? So that's kind of where the idea was, brought about. 18 months we've been kind of pushing it. We launched about 2 months ago, starting it off with the low hanging fruit, which is obviously the rivalry, the passion behind the KU-MU rivalry. Utilizing myself and my brother as kind of like the initial ambassadors, but we got 4 to 6 other players for each university, kind of creating collector's editions for them. So it's really about the love, the nostalgia, the fan, these players and tying into one brand. So I love bourbon. I think it's a very premium product. We're not trying to sell it to college kids, so it's not a pitch to college kids. This is more of a old school alumni. You sit back with your boys, watching the game, reminiscing. Have a pour glass of Educated Spirit and kind of relive those moments.
Pair it up with a nice cigar.
Funny you say that. I got a cigar brand that's launching.
Damn.
So it's university brand cigars. I got the custom box designed for my Hall of Fame edition. So it'll be a Mizzou Hall of Fame edition. I got crimson blue cigar. So we're gonna have a lot of different things tied to the brand. I'm working with a cool because every athlete wants their own statue. I think that's the pinnacle of who you are. So I found this really dope sculptor through LinkedIn who makes like 1/4 size sculptures. So they actually creating a Hall of Fame inducting statue for me that I can kind of start pushing at the guys. So once you retire, you want to kind of honor. You look into your trophy room. You got all your jerseys and stuff. Now you can kind of commemorate your career through a really cool bronze or resin statue that I'm working on now too. So it's going to be a lot of stuff tied to the brand, really kind of tying back into the college marketplace. I think there's an untapped market there outside of just the NCAA, who've done a lot of, obviously made billions and billions of dollars off the backs of these players. Now with NIL, I'm trying to give guys like myself an opportunity to kind of tap back into that and create our own NIL where we can kind of push product and re-engage back with these fan bases and colleges that love us.
Man, I'm so glad you're doing it because you just said something, man, and it hit me right away. One of the things that's always been missing in college athletics is that unless you kind of like made it to the league, there's not really a fanfare between former athlete and the school. Yes, they'll invite you back for special occasions, but there's never been a real tie-in. And then, unfortunately, if your coach leaves, then it really falls off even more. So, man, I love the fact that you are reconnecting, to me, the athlete's heart back to the university and the university's heart back to the athlete through this, man. My question for you right now is, how did you come up with the name, Educated Spirits?
Oh, that's shout out to my partners over at ChatGPT and my biggest assistant that I talk to ChatGPT every day. So a lot of, like I said, brainstorming ideas. Like I said, I wanted to kind of tie it to college education, and so me and my partners, we had a couple named Alumni Spirits, and then we settled in on Educated Spirits. But obviously each school has their own brands tied to their school colors or something nostalgia about the university. So for Crimson Blue, that's KU obviously, and then for Mizzou, it's Black Gold. But we have additions already lined up for additional schools. We got K-State, which is the Manhattan Purple. We have Wichita State, which is the Shocker Black. We have SLU. We have Syracuse, Georgetown, Maryland, Indiana, Purdue. So I've already got a bunch of teams lined up. And where I'm gonna launch these at, I'm just kind of lining up different distribution deals around the country. So once we have distribution deal in that state, then we'll launch each individual school. So probably by the end of 2025, we probably have between 10 to 15 schools launched, and hopefully with those distribution partners kind of lined up. Again, just trying to provide opportunity for these guys post career, come back,
I'm
make some money.
hoping that there is a Marquette and a Arkansas State. Hey, listen, man. They drink bourbon up there too, man. They drink bourbon up that way. Let me
I
ask you
think
this.
it's endless possibility. You got a million, you got 350 D1 schools. All these schools have alumni fan bases, so we don't need to sell 1,000 bottles per school. We can sell 100, 500 bottles per school. Do that at 100, 200 different universities. Now we got a really major brand. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
Talk to me about because I signed up for it. Share with our audience, man. What is the golden ticket giveaway?
The golden ticket giveaway. So always trying to tie up to cool, unique experiences utilizing our players. So in the style of Willy Wonka, I'm a huge candy guy, so Willy Wonka. So each player will have 500 collectors editions of So for myself, in one of those boxes will be a golden ticket. If you win that golden ticket, you get a chance to go to that rivalry game with me and my brother, or host a watch party where we bring in 4 or 5 different athletes from pro school, do a big party, and enjoy the border war game and have a good time. So we're gonna do that in every school. We got some other cool stuff: signed merchandise, signed posters. Like I mentioned, the cigars, the statue. We're gonna have a lot of different things tied to the brand moving forward.
Tell you something, man. I'm loving this, not just because of the entrepreneurial spirit. Obviously, I'm loving that, but the fact, man, that I think what you're doing too is, man, you're giving athletes an opportunity to think outside of the game, how they can market, take that skill set off the court, man, and throw it into get into these business rooms. And not only
Yeah.
are you doing it through your bourbon, but man, you and your partner, Ricky Goings, started R&R Advisory Group. Tell our fans, man, what is the R&R Advisory Group?
Yeah, R&R is Ricky, and everybody calls me Reem, so it's kind of short for Kareem. So that's where the R&R is. So he was very instrumental in my ABL league when we started that back in 2022. So he knows all the connections to all the East Coast schools, knows all the players. And so as we kind of built this league the last couple of years, I realized how, serious of a name Ricky is on the East Coast as far as knowing players. So he's already had these relationships with these collectives, university. He came to me about 2 months ago and said, "Reem, I've been approached by a few different players about representing them. Would you come in and offer your branding experts, your entrepreneurial insights to help these young kids start planning for stuff during career and post career?" That's kind of where my hat is, the branding and the entrepreneurship. And Ricky handles all the contract negotiations and the deals with the schools. So it's been a perfect partnership. The last 2 months, we've done close to $2 million in NIL deals for our players. We signed 15 kids. We got 4 committed, and we locked in the overseas partner so we can bring in overseas players to the college space, as well as provide overseas opportunities for our guys once out of college. So I'm excited about where this the advisory group is going. It's right in my wheelhouse. I love being a mentor for up and coming players, and I can provide any knowledge and any insights to plan for post career. You know, Anytime I can be involved with the game of basketball, I'm all for it.
Now, how does the R&R group help um, former athletes? I get it from the standpoint of if you're a current athlete, they you can help grow their brand and help them maximize it. How does that help a former athlete if they're done with the game? Um, in the sense, how does that help them?
Yeah, that's like building. When they're done, every athlete has a personal brand. It may be small. You may have 1,000 people. You have a fan base. So we worked on kind of building out simple things like merchandise, t-shirts, hats they can sell. Through my different businesses like the bourbon, like the cigars. If you're a well-known name, you don't mind doing social media. You have every opportunity to kind of have your own bourbon collection or own cigars. So we're giving guys opportunities to kind of market themselves and become business owners and have equity. So I'm not just paying them a check. I'm giving them all a percentage of the brand. So if you want to come learn and learn the business, by all means, come in and be a part of the team. So I'm just trying to provide as many opportunities that it's given to me. I think LinkedIn is a huge asset that guys don't know about, especially former athletes. I really kind of dived into LinkedIn in the last few months to kind of see the power there. So really trying to find ways to just provide information and knowledge to guys. Like I joined this group, Pat. You can see them. But it's a pro athletes community. They got over 400 former NFL guys that come in. They do business seminars. They got a lot of cool products and programming. So I'm gonna do something similar through my nonprofit. But again, anybody just wants to see what's out there, have ideas, then come to R&R, and then we love to help you.
Man, I wish this was out when we were playing because one of the biggest things has always been, I think, has been detrimental to uh, the athlete is because you commit so much time to your craft, to your sport, that you don't have time to really maximize everything that you should get out of a college experience.
So we didn't have him growing up. So as a former athlete, I'm thinking about these young kids and the age of social media and attention is the key thing now. So a lot of these kids got, so why not utilize that attention, utilize these channels to grow your brand. So when you're done, especially like the kids now at FSU, they may have 1 million followers by the time they're done with college. At some point, they may not be bigger than they were in college. So we need to kind of build that foundation, build that brand while you're at your highest peak. Because once you get into the NBA, you may have a long career. You may play for 5 or 6, 10 different teams. But if you're known for being a star at a college, we can work with that and build you a post career just based on that, as well as your professional careers.
Now, I just got to ask this because as some former athletes or current athletes hear this, are you all looking for a particular type person, or if this is anybody can, let's say they weren't the first, but the 12th man on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, we sit down and talk to you. If you have, you guys any value out there, we'll try to find it for you. And what's been our sweet spot, we're not a huge agency. We just started, so we're not like getting the top guys. But what we found success is finding those high-level D2 guys that have those metrics that D1 teams are looking for. So if you're a 6'2", 6'3" point guard that can shoot 40% from the three, got decent stats. You don't have to average. I say some of our guys, for example, guys at Florida State, none of our guys average over 12 points a game, but we got guys 450,000 from FSU just for So these numbers are crazy. So our sweet spot is finding the metrics that make sense for us. Like I said, high 3-point percentage, anything close to 40%. If you're big, you got some athleticism, 6'8", 6'9", you average close to a double-double. There's a lot of value in that for a lot of D1 schools. So that's kind of been our sweet spot so far. And like I said, now with these new partnerships overseas, now we have another, tool that we can offer guys and say, yo, you come with us, there's an opportunity for overseas, opportunities once you're done. So
Talk to us a little bit about, man, how that transition was for you, because I think for a lot of athletes, man, to step outside of that comfort zone, and when I mean the comfort zone, get away from that basketball court and try to rediscover or find themselves when it comes to these business strategy, these business marketing, we don't necessarily get that. So how has that journey been for you, transitioning from Kareem Rush, superstar college athlete, superstar NBA athlete, then having to realize, you know what? I got to join the workforce now.
the first 2 years was, I think everybody goes through it. And my career was cut short because of an injury. So I was at 29. I wasn't planning on being done till like 40. So for me, while recovering from an ACL microfracture, I was thinking, okay, yeah, I'm gonna be playing again by 33. But yeah, this is gonna be nothing. So during those 2 years while recovering, that's when I started doing music. But I always had the idea that at some point I was gonna be back in the NBA. And when at 35, or 34, 35, that didn't happen. Now I'm in a position like, well, now it's time for you to start thinking about doing some other stuff. So in all that process, the last 4 or 5 years, it's been some success, it's been some failures, but it's all been learning. I think as athletes, we have very unique skills that transition very well to business. We just don't know how to really maximize and utilize them. Like you mentioned, going to hospitals, most guys go into coaching because we're part of a team, but determination, the sacrifice, the drive, the will, all that stuff translates well into business. We just got to learn how to apply that the right way. Mentorship is key. And that's why I think with our league, a lot of these players are former legends of these schools. So not one single school would want to turn down these guys to be back involved in some capacity. So when I start kind of pushing that stuff with the Bourbon, Mizzou was first to call me, like, yo, what's going on with this? Can we help? Can you join an alumni board? All this type of stuff. So I believe the same will go with some of the other players. Again, outside of just the Bourbon, with the R&R group, we sit down with our players, we sit down with our clients, try to figure out what's next, what other skills you have, what other interests you have, and try to build from there. I believe if you love something, then you can kind of find a way to make money at it.
I love what you said, man, the mentorship part, because I think that's been so key, and I think that's what's been missing. Again, and I'm strictly speaking from the business side, because the mentorship from the athletic side is always there. Like our coaches, they will find a guy to speak into your life basketball wise. I mean, they're great at that. That's what they do, and we need that. But share with our audience, man, what were some specific things that you did, especially in those moments when you didn't necessarily know what was next? Because I've seen a lot of athletes face that path a lot. Like, man, now what?
Yeah, just to keep going. Like I said, it hasn't all been rainbows. Like this Bourbon's been, it's been a great success, but it's been 18 months process of dealing with working with players, understanding the business. So it's all a learning experience. Like I said,
Did you retrain yourself? Did you go to school?
You
Did you
have
retrain
to.
yourself? Okay.
I mean, I did. I've studied every Coursera course, online course about AI automation, building websites, sourcing product from China, doing all the little things that I've done, from launching clothing brands to pool floats and logistics and all these different things over the last 10 years have led to me being well versed enough to be able to execute something like Educated Spirits. But those initial projects only gave me the skill sets to eventually get to where I need to go, which is where we are now. So I believe, like anything, it's a journey. You got to continuously learn. Find those people who've done it ahead of you, and so you ain't got to walk a new path, just follow someone else's path. So mentorship is a very key part to anything, in any, not just sports, but in business. And I believe that through this alumni challenge that I have, all these schools have huge business people, successful businessmen that are out there willing to help you if you go out there and ask. So it's easier for the guys to ask. It's a situation where people know them. So for example, my brother go to KU and talk to the business people there. It's so much easier for him to walk into a room that he doesn't know anyone. So I believe through the connection that we're doing there and building, a lot of guys can take advantage of those connections through those universities that they may not be utilizing right now.
I think it's important for former athletes to hear that too, and even current athletes, for them to know that um, oftentimes I've seen this, man, when athletes walk away from the school, they don't stay connected or they don't stay invested there. But it's good for them to know that no, you can return. you know,
Yeah,
don't act like you
they
can't
want
go
they want
back
you
to your.
to.
Yes,
It should be a primary focus. If you're a decent player in college, at the school level, it will be a focus for you to try to re-engage with that and build those fan base and build those connections back. 'Cause
absolutely, absolutely. I'm loving this, man. I really am, because I just think so many athletes they miss this aspect, and with the new NIL, the way that these things are going, it's almost forcing you to begin to function in this type of capacity. Like, I think it's incredible that these new athletes, and I'm calling them new athletes because of the NIL, that you got to be both right now. You got to be
yeah,
a business thinker as well as you got to be a superior athlete. But I'm saying you gotta play well on the court too. You can't forget that that's still your
yeah.
primary job. That's why you're
I mean,
there.
you can be a multi-millionaire by the time you leave college. They're giving kids extra years of eligibility, so you know I think it's a huge opportunity for agencies like myself that we're running to kind of come in and be like first and foremost uh, a resource. Like we want to help because they say there's a lot of opportunity for us and we can find a way to make money down the long run. But first and foremost, we want to help these young kids and help former athletes tie into different experiences and opportunities, which like I said, they're ample out there.
And I love y'all approach too, man. The fact that you customize it. You're not putting everybody in a box. Your current athletes, has it been a challenge to get them to think differently like that? We've been taught to be a team player. Have you seen it be a challenge for athletes to kind of overcome um, that mentality and say, okay, I need to be more aggressive in my life?
I mean, not at this point. Like some of our kids, like we want them to focus on the main thing. Is the main thing. So you do the basketball court. I'm in the gym with you. I show you some of my. I play one on one. I bust your ass whenever I can. So that's always the focus of what we're doing. But
Yes,
there's
yes.
also the other side of the coin, which as your advisors, as your team, we will handle all of it. We still want you to be educated to know what's going on. Most kids like video games and all that type of stuff right now, but I'm like, yeah, there's even paths to become successful at that, if that's what you want to do. I get approached all the time from different brands that say, you got any young athletes that want to play in a Call of Duty tournament? We'll pay them. So there's so many opportunities for these kids. Because instead, they got eyeballs on them. They got TikTok followers. They got social media followers. So there's tons of opportunities for them just based on the exposure they currently have. And it's only going to get bigger and better as these things, tend to grow, especially if you're a good player in college. So it's going to be the next stage for you. So we're thinking long term. We're thinking, these are lifelong relationships with these kids. We're not trying to, be one out, one deal and they're done. We're in it for the long haul with them.
Man, I love everything y'all doing, man. And also too, this day and age, these new athletes, and again I'm saying new athletes because they're getting these NIL deals, they got to have a solid team behind them. If they don't have anybody solid behind them, now we're talking about, being misused, being misunderstood, and and at the same time, you need somebody who has been there. So man, I'm grateful that you and Ricky, y'all are doing this. But man, let's talk about you. What's been going on with Kareem Rush personally?
Life is good. I said, got the kids are good. My daughter just finished her semester at Mizzou, so she's a sophomore down at Mizzou. Got a younger junior in high school as well. So the volleyball players. Other than that, just hustling, man, every day doing the business. Like I said, got the huge honor a couple of weeks ago being inducted to the Hall of Fame, so that's great. But other than
That's
that, man, just kind of
huge.
pushing, moving ahead with things, singing, and doing all the little fun stuff that I tend to do.
Speaking of singing, when that new album gonna drop?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Soon. Like I said, I was like my last thing I was doing. I was really trying to audition for The Voice. So I made it to the final round of audition for The Voice. They actually told me last month I didn't make it because what I thought is I watched this past season. They had another basketball player on there, so I figured they didn't want to do too many basketball players back to back. So I tried that for again next year. But I wrote this little Laker jingle song that I'm gonna pitch to them next week to be a timeout song. So music is just kind of an outlet for me. I love to write. I love to get in the studio and put a song together. And hopefully, one day something pops and you hear my song all over the radio.
Speaking of music, man, You that 90s, 80s, 90s kid. Have you seen, especially from an R&B perspective, how has the genre of music changed in your mind?
I don't listen to anything new age. I'm still on Maxwell's urban swing. I'm, I do all old school stuff, so I couldn't even tell you who the new up and coming R&B guy is. So music is what it is. I got my style. Like I said, I'm a crooner at heart, so my style is definitely the '90s, early 2000s R&B. So I'm still listening to all that stuff.
Gotcha. So you don't listen to no new guys.
I
Nobody
couldn't
out
even
there
tell
has
you.
caught you.
I mean, I'm trying to think who I listen to singing. I listen to, I say Maxwell, Stevie Wonder, John Legend. Normally, I'm always singing to the song, so if I know them, then I sing. So any new age song I don't know, so that's probably why I don't sing them. I don't listen to the radio. But yeah, I'm a strictly old school guy.
Got you. I'm loving it because we got you. We got to talk about it, man. It's going on in the league right now. I
I
mean,
mean, just I like the parody. I mean, you always like the storyline and unexpected. It's been fun to watch so far.
the big talk right now is, well, two things I want to throw at you. First one is the Luka LeBron, is the era over? I mean,
It
what
should be.
what what it should
It
be.
should be. I think LeBron closes out someplace else, maybe New York, maybe back in Cleveland,
Really?
kind of final show. He probably won't, but I think to officially start the Luca era, you got to get LeBron out of there, even though he's playing still at an extremely high level. I don't think they're gonna win a championship next year. So if he's trying to just do something, which LeBron always loves storylines, if the
But
Knicks if the Knicks
what
do
if they
well,
get the Greek freak in there? What if the Greek freak shows
oh,
up at
so
the
yeah.
door?
Yeah. Okay, then you keep that. That storyline just that goes. But as as currently constructed, they won't win a chip. And you can't officially start Lucas era because when you get LeBron's gone, they don't bring in the Greek. Now it's Lucas time. So let's build a team around Luca. It may not be successful next year, or the next couple of years, but you can start kind of building a team around him like they did in Dallas.
Gotcha. And I gotta ask you about this. I want to get your take on Jason Tatum. And the reason I'm asking you this is because it's just saying like Jason Tatum can't overcome whatever it is out there about him, even though he can be all NBA first team. They'll say, well, he didn't play on the Olympics, and this is why he didn't play during the Olympics, or he can. What is the issue that folks
I
have
mean,
against a
critics
Jason Tatum?
success. I don't know. He's not like a big personality like Ant Man, or he's not the Greek. He's on a successful team with a bunch of other successful players. So I think that hurts him because he does have Jalen, he does have Derek White, he does have so many other stars on that squad. He can kind of get not lost in the mix, but as a collective, they're a great team. So you're the best player on the best team in the league. It's a lot different. So I think he's a top five player. He's made first team All NBA the last 5 years. But being the face of the league is only for one guy. So he's one of the faces of the league. I mean, you wouldn't think of the NBA not mention Jason Tatum, but as being like the main guy, he's not Kobe, he's not LeBron, he's not MJ. Ant Man has that personality, kind of maybe fill that void, but he's not there yet either. It's still LeBron's league, in my opinion, our special league. So the face stuff's not the it's not something that someone's giving to you. It's just gonna be kind of what it is, and then you dominate, and then there it is.
Well, Ant-Man definitely trying.
He's
I
trying,
just,
and
but the
he's
but
on
the
his way.
problem, this is the thing I see with the face of the league right now in the NBA. And AG and I, we've talked about this man so many times. Unfortunately, right now for the face of the league in the NBA, all of your best players or your top players, they're not from
European,
America.
yeah.
so,
And
so
that's why the Lakers getting Luca was more of a probably a league move than actually like allowing it to happen because now LeBron's gone. Now you got probably a top five player. Luka's a top five player now on the one of the biggest franchises in the world. And now with this huge TV deal, global deal, now Luka on the Lakers. Now everybody can watch the Lakers because LeBron's not going to be there. They're not going to cover Dallas, but they had the Lakers on national TV around the world.
did we just hear Kareem Rush drop a bombshell for us? Did he just say that was a league move? That the
I think it was
league
yeah.
has something?
They wouldn't veto it. I mean, it's a smart move for the league. for a 20 or whatever $76 billion TV deal they just signed. It makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you got to have your two-story franchises. They always got to be great on some level.
Yeah, they
On
got
some
to. So
level.
LeBron to the Knicks, and then they keep Luka in LA. Could
Can
could
you
be a
really
thing.
see that? You can see that
That's what I'm
happening?
saying. 1 year out, LeBron's like, I'm gonna go 1 year just to ride it out. I mean, LeBron gonna get you 25-5, however old he is. I think LeBron can play for another 2 or 3 years. But yeah, he's gonna get you 25-5. So pairing him with somebody like Brunson, I don't know what's gonna happen. I love the storyline. I love drama around the league, and I'm curious kind of what the summer's gonna play out. There's always some crazy moves that's gonna happen. But
So what
as a
happens with
Laker,
Bronny though? What happens with Bronny?
he go on his own path. It's not like LeBron did. LeBron achieved his goal of playing with my son one time. They did that. So that's
That
gone
was it.
now.
He
Now
got another one
Bronny,
coming. He got another one
now
coming.
Bronny, you're on your own now, Brian. We did all that. Now it's your own journey, your own path. But I'm here. But I've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish.
Get that. Give me your all NBA first team.
All NBA first team: SGA, Joker, Tatum, probably Donovan this year. What's that? And then probably Greek Freak. So maybe Brunson, maybe Brunson or Donovan. You go to
Yeah, that's
best
interesting.
record. So you got Joker for sure. You got SGA for sure. You got the Greek for
Absolutely.
sure.
Absolutely.
Then you got in between the best players on the best team. Either they could be
I
Tatum,
think Tatum
Donovan,
would get it.
Tatum,
I
Donovan,
was
or
stuck with that
Mitchell.
fifth one. I was stuck with that fifth one. So let me throw this at you. I was stuck with that fifth one because I still don't know who would get that final spot. I do think Tatum gets a spot. If the alien doesn't get hurt, does he
Oh
get
yeah,
that easy, huh?
he could be the face. He could be the face of the league. That's probably more like this transcendent player, the freak. I mean, the alien. Skill set crazy. He's gonna average 30 in here in a couple years with his skill
Have
set.
you ever seen
Blocks a game.
anything like that, man?
Crazy, bro. Like it's crazy. I mean, the
Wait.
Greek Freak was kind of like, I mean, Porzingis to a certain extent similar, but not with all the between the legs skill stuff that the Victor be doing. That's it's crazy, and he's still young, and he seems like he's always getting better and always improving, especially on like guard skills, which is at 7'4". It's insane.
Man.
So I'm curious to see kind of how he develops in the next 5 years. The league could be in trouble with Mignano.
Well, I'm down here in San Antonio, man, and Greg Pop just retired, man. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, great career. I mean, I know he went through his health stuff this year, so I thought it was probably expected. They got, he's been one of the top five greatest coaches of all time. So he had an amazing run, and it ends for us all at some point. So hopefully his health is in good order, and I'm sure he's going to be, associated with the organization in some capacity. But coaching 82 is tough, at that age.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about getting into the coaching game?
I did in 20. Once I first got out, like 2013, I started with the whole with the D League. So me and Luke Walton start coaching at the same time, and then 5 years later, he's coaching the Lakers in 5 years. So I probably should have stayed down that path.
Stay with us.
After after the first 2 months, I was like, man, I ain't trying to do all this. I want to go out there and bust these guys' ass. I still can beat them. So I was having a hard time not still having the athlete hat on. That most guys, once you're done playing, you still think that you still can play. So it was kind of a hard transition for me.
Let me ask you this, man. You have done so many things, and you are doing so many things in your life. Is your true passion that when Kareem is at home, them things you go into your office, you jotting down, you writing those things that bring you personal joy, that keeps you sane. What's that for you?
Number one would be music. So when I write, and then it kind of gives me time away from all this other stuff. But other than that, creating and creating opportunities, not necessarily having success monetarily, but taking an idea from my head that I've driven, I've wrote down, I've drawn a concept, and then bring it to life into the actual physical world is something I really find enjoyable and it's kind of a passion. So I just want to let guys know there's so many opportunities for you out there, and helping guys and helping young kids and up and comers and mentoring the next generation is also a passion. So all the stuff that I'm doing is to eventually get to a place where I don't need to do all these things, and and the money's being made and all that stuff it's not an issue for me. Then I can kind of focus on the nonprofit work, giving back and building the ABL and building unique and cool experiences for myself and people I'm involved with.
But you ain't got no crazy habits. Like everybody got some crazy habits. Like you ain't got in your office a drawer full of sneaker bars or M&Ms or something.
Oh, I mean, candy. I'm always eating some candy. So that's always the deal. But I mean, around me, people. I mean, I sing constantly. I'm always humming songs, singing songs, writing songs. So if anything, you would think it would definitely be the music.
How does Kareem Rush relax?
Can we say it on here? A little bourbon, a little legal marijuana, a little bit of that. So
Absolutely,
winding down a
absolutely.
night on winding down a night on a little bourbon, a little educated spirits, a little green is always good for me.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, listen, Kareem, man, I want to thank you for joining us again, man. I think what you're doing is just, man, it is just next level amazing. And tell our audience, man, how they can connect with you, how they can uh, on 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 a multiple of levels of things that you're doing. It's crazy, but how can folks find you and connect with you?
Yeah, I mean, the most active profile I'm on is LinkedIn. So Kareem Rush on LinkedIn, IG, Kareem Rush. I'm really on there, but LinkedIn is kind of the best place to get in contact with me. Yeah, I mean, I'm always open for any opportunities, any ideas. I'm an idea guy, so please reach out if you guys got any opportunity. Like I said, I would love to do a Hoop Dreams version of the bourbon for you guys. Do some cool little designs for you guys. Put that
Oh,
out. You guys can,
absolutely.
stitch.
Because listen, when you said that, man, you know what went through my head? You said rivalry. I was like, oh, Marquette in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
Whoa. I said,
yeah. I
okay.
got one for Purdue, Indiana. We got the
Woo.
Duke North Carolina rivalry. We got Georgia Tech. We got Syracuse Georgetown. So I'm doing all these collectors versions of each school, and then those are coming like in the collectors packaging box. It on the rivalry has some different stuff tied to it. But yeah, like those classic rivalries are kind of the centerpiece.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, listen, man, I want to thank you again, man, for being on the show.
I